If you've just tuned in, you're watching Real Health, and thank you for staying with us. Many of us set ourselves New Year's resolutions and goals that we'd like to achieve, but most of the time these don't materialize. So how can we go about setting realistic and achievable goals? In the studio today, we have life and relationship coach Leah Sifor to tell us more about the art of intention setting. Welcome, Leah. Great to have you with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, goals versus intentions. What is the difference and why are they so different in results?
Okay, so an intention is about a feeling and a desire of where you are in the present moment.
Okay.
A goal is always a nice idea, and it's a concept
Yes.
of like a future-based outcome.
Okay.
And intention is a feeling of excitement, a feeling of energy, a feeling of high frequency, versus a goal, which is always a feeling of not enough.
Okay.
I'm not enough, I don't have enough. And the danger with putting something always in a future tense with a goal is that wherever you are until that point will never be okay.
Okay.
So it's a very disempowering thing, the word
Yes.
goal setting for me. I never use the word goal setting. I always
Okay.
work with intention, because intention is really where you are generating from in the present moment.
Okay.
And that's what kind of ties into the whole law of attraction, is when you are vibrating at a specific frequency in the moment of now, you are going to start attracting that reality
Okay.
to you, versus a goal which is always out there.
So it's almost like you've started the process. When you've set an intention,
Yes.
you are on a roll already.
And you're already in it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Versus a goal is once I have done A, B, C, then that
Yes.
might be the result.
Okay.
So
okay.
we're flipping it on its head a bit.
Yes.
I'm already here.
Okay.
And
okay.
therefore I can then create the reality that I want.
Right. Now, in terms of New Year's resolutions, there's something that people, I made a New Year's resolution many years ago to not make New Year's resolutions. It's going great.
Great.
But why is that such a stumbling block for people when they say, here I am, now it's the start of a new year and that's where I want to be? Are we not already starting a process? Where do we fall short there?
Look, I don't know where this whole thing with New Year's resolutions started, but I mean, it doesn't work. Nobody works with New Year's resolutions. I think that, first of all, you're in a very different headspace on a December holiday. You're much more relaxed. You don't have that many commitments. You're getting a chance to just step back from your life a bit. So setting it from that place sounds reasonable, but when you get to January, you've got a lack of motivation because you're now back into work and into the swing of things. And for most people, you've got a lack of resource. You've got a lack of finances in January.
Yeah.
And for most people, starting something new requires a financial commitment, which people don't have. So I'm not saying it's always about finances, but
Yes.
in my experience, that's a big part. Like, I can't afford a gym contract. You know, I can't afford to hire a personal coach to help me change something. Money does play a role in that.
It does.
A big thing that I find with New Year's resolutions is that people have to get their lives into integrity in order to start manifesting a different energy in their lives. And what that means is, you know, are you treating your body well? Are you in a healthy state? Are your finances in a workable space? Is your communications clear with the people in your life?
Right.
Integrity is the quality of the life that you're living right now. And if that quality of life is not operating from a good place, you're not going to be able to manifest more powerful intentions for yourself. So it's clearing out the garbage, so to speak, so that you're operating from a clearer space, and January is a tough time to do that for people. The other thing is that people tend to operate in a blocked existence from January to December. Like, we live our lives in these 12-month chunks versus a consistent time frame that's ongoing.
Yes.
So I'm always a big fan of starting something within the middle of a year, because it's not like this beginning and end mentality.
Yeah.
There should never be an end. Not like I'm starting in January and by December this is going to be the result. It is just this constant flow of where you want to be.
Right. Now, in terms of, you mentioned earlier, decluttering.
Yes.
I must say, personally, I find it quite difficult to declutter when I want to move forward.
Yes.
How do you make space in your mind, first of all, to declutter your life and create the capacity to start this journey once you've sort of set your intention?
Look, I'm a big believer that your external space is a big reflection of where you are mentally with yourself.
Okay.
So if your desk is cluttered, if you've got those drawers in your kitchen that you just shove things into, if you've got those boxes in your garage you haven't unpacked, that is a real reflection of what you're not really addressing with yourself.
Okay.
So it's an easy way to start from the outside in. Spend January as a spring clean time frame. You know, clear out your desk, throw stuff out that no longer serves you.
Yes.
Once you've done the external clearing, it is sitting down and going through all the areas of your life to get very clear about, where am I currently with my health, with my communication, with my finances, with my family, you know, with my home. It's really reevaluating each area of your life, because we tend to want to make these big sweeping changes.
Yes, yes.
And I think, bringing your focus to one area and
Okay.
going, that's where I'm going to activate change right now.
Yes.
And then I can and move it incrementally. Because if you want to do your health and your finances and find love, it's 3 massive areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just overwhelming
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
So one area at a time, but clearing out the clutter physically, reorganizing your wardrobe, it makes a huge change for how you feel about
Yeah.
yourself.
So we mentioned the difference between intention setting and a goal setting.
Yes.
What is the fundamental difference, apart from the beginning and end,
Yeah.
in terms of setting a goal? Do we tend to set the goal too high,
Yeah.
and just it's big steps all the way to get there,
Yeah.
versus an intention where we can create littler steps, smaller steps that we
Yeah.
say, right, day one I've done just that, I've moved something and I've achieved.
Yeah.
Where's the balance there, and how do we get to build on that?
So the difference is, look, I think that a goal is a good thing to apply when you want to do something that's measurable, like
Okay.
losing weight or saving money. That's measurable. You can
Yes.
measure those steps.
Yes.
Whereas I want to create a new relationship in my life. You can't measure that.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the difference with an intention. The
Okay.
intention is how I'm feeling, is going to vibrate at a very specific frequency that's now going to attract that same thing into my life, activating law of attraction stuff.
Okay.
Goal setting, absolutely you're correct, is incremental. So yes, I want to achieve this, but I've got to have a plan of action. Most people don't put a proper plan of action in place.
okay.
So you've got to have a plan, and then you've got to start small. And I think we've discussed this before about that incremental shift slowly,
Yes,
slowly. So
yes.
people want to make a whole day commitment to do something. No, take 10 minutes in your day to commit to that. Take a small change, activates a belief in you that you can do it.
Okay.
So once I've completed something, I now know I can, then I can
Yes.
do it again, and then I can replicate, and then it gets more and more and more.
Absolutely.
So incremental change slowly, and like I said earlier, don't do all different areas of your life at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
For the next 6 weeks of my life, I will only be focusing on my health. And even within health, I'm not going to be trying to lose weight and give up smoking and try and rectify my sleeping behavior. And one thing. And then it's not so much pressure, it's bite-sized chunks. And also don't set a goal or an intention in January that's for the year. That's too far
okay.
away.
Right.
Bring it right up to, I never want to work with more than 3 months at a time.
Okay.
So if I want to be somewhere by the end of, March, that's more doable and realistic for me than, December is so far away.
Yes,
I don't know how
yes.
I'm going to get there.
But if we do want to look further ahead, is it just about, as we said, the incremental steps? So 3 months is still a long time, but if you
Yes.
put a marker there to say, that's my
Yes,
achievement,
yes.
cool, I'm still on my way to that
Absolutely.
December goal.
So if you want to lose weight over a year's period, you're going to break it down into kind of
Yes.
smaller chunks.
Yeah.
By March, this is where I want to be. By June, this is where I want to be. So yes, you've got to have the milestones from January to December of by each of those months, this is where I want to be. And it's great to have that printed somewhere.
Yeah, sort of a vision board
Exactly.
of some kind. Yeah.
But once you've got it out, take your attention off the big and bring it down to
Okay.
the smaller. So right
Yeah.
now, all I'm focusing on is getting to March.
Absolutely.
And let's see what we can do for that time.
I think it's quite interesting how this ties in with the discussion we had earlier about neuroplasticity, because it's
Yes.
about changing your thought patterns, changing
Yes.
your habits,
Yes.
little bit at a time, which then creates a lasting change, and then you can build on that change as well.
Yes, absolutely. And when we're talking about intention setting, here's a powerful thing about intention setting. A goal is a statement, I am.
Yes.
Intention is an open-ended question. What would it feel like if?
Okay.
How would it be if? And when you open the possibility for any picture to exist, what you're doing is you're activating your frontal lobe, which is the
Okay.
creative center of your brain.
Yes.
And that now pulls on all those neural networks in your brain to create an answer that is a new possibility for you.
Okay.
When you have activated that vision in your mind, it's also triggering a feeling and it's triggering a sensory reaction to that picture. And when you are now vibrating at a frequency of what that idea is, remember your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy.
Yes, yes.
It thinks it's all real. So what would it feel like if I weighed this much? Or what would it feel like if I had this money in my bank account? It's quite an exciting feeling
Yeah.
versus I need to have this much money in my
Yes,
account.
that
I
makes
have
a lot
to
of
weigh
sense.
this much by
Yeah,
this date.
yeah.
So the open-ended questions are powerful with intention setting, and that activates that neural kind of plasticity of finding new ways to think about something
Yes.
and creating a new picture in your head.
I quite like the idea that it's a creative process and it's
Yes.
kind of exploratory and a bit
Yes.
of intrigue in it.
Yes.
The idea of what if, or if this, then that, that's quite exciting.
And the thing about creativity is that it opens a lot of possibilities. The thing with goal setting, it's a very committed path.
Yes,
That is the
yeah.
only way
There's
that I can
one
get
point that you're aiming at,
absolutely.
yeah.
And it's quite constrictive, that thinking, versus what if it's now any possibility exists, and that's where the magic can be. That's an exciting feeling.
Yeah.
Versus everyone who thinks about a goal kind of it's a
It's a bit of a
energy.
drag.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not an exciting energy. Intention is it's an exciting energy of how can I create.
Wonderful. Leah, that's a great topic, and it's a discussion that we could have on for hours and hours and hours. But I think it's exciting to just hear that there's so much possibility in intention. So thank you for joining us.
Absolute pleasure.
Wonderful.